I visit the Australian War Memorial, it has a huge and profound meaning for me. I think it does for others as well. The War Memorial for me is a bit like my heart and soul. It's part of me.
Alison Cray is one of the most senior women to have served in the Australian Defence Force. She deployed as a peacekeeper to Cambodia and East Timor in the 1990s, before also serving in Iraq and Afghanistan.
So for me, there's really only a couple of very small displays in the Australian War Memorial where I can see myself or see the country that I went to support.
The retired brigadier served 3 years on the War Memorial Board and is an active member of Canberra's veteran community. Alison and other volunteers established this memorial to recognise the nation's peacekeepers, one of the groups she says is not properly recognised by the Australian War Memorial just a kilometre up the road.
A little bit of sadness because I can't take my family there and have them understand a little bit about what I've done.
So today I am pleased to announce that the government is backing these plans, providing $498 million over the next 9 years to see these plans fulfilled.
Those plans involve creating new entrances below the existing forecourt, a covered walkway between the main memorial building and a new Anzac Hall. The hall is set to be demolished and a bigger one built in its place.
The current space allocated to contemporary operations, not just peacekeeping, but contemporary operations from Vietnam through to the Tarancot Wall, I can do in about 15 strides.
For Memorial Director Matt Anderson, the lack of space is summed up by the Afghanistan exhibition commemorating Australia's longest war.
It's not adequate to tell that story in an exit corridor. They are entitled to the space so that we can speak to the nature of their remarkable service.
I think the question of expansion is a nonsense. It's as simple as that.
Brendan Kelson was director of the memorial for 5 years in the 1990s.
If you're a good museum manager, you will adapt and use the spaces you have. You make things fit.
He's a vocal critic of the redevelopment and fears there'll be too much focus on housing large hardware from Australia's modern wars.
If it's going to be located in the memorial itself, it will turn it to truly a Disneyland, a military Disneyland museum. And the memorial was never intended to be a military museum. That's not its function. And what should go into the memorial should be related to commemoration. There is no commemoration related to this hardware, which properly should go to Mitchell.
The Mitchell Warehouse in Canberra's north is where big military vehicles are housed.
I think it really does mess up the storyline of the Australian War Memorial if it becomes a space for large pieces of military equipment.
For Karen Bird, tanks and fighter jets can't tell the story she once heard. Her son, Jesse Bird, survived his time in Afghanistan but developed post-traumatic stress disorder. In 2017, Jesse took his own life.
The War Memorial currently doesn't speak to our family's loss of Jesse because there's no real reference point there to the long-term cost of war.
Karen Bird is proposing a sculpture be erected at the memorial, allowing visitors to reflect on the mental and physical suffering of returned service people. The cost won't be covered by the $500 million redevelopment. She's been told to fundraise for the $750,000 required.
I think it would be a wonderful expression from the War Memorial that actually somehow or other money is allocated from those redevelopment funds on the grounds that it is the biggest story not told.
John Denton is one of Australia's leading architects.
It's a waste of money to demolish a building that's been designed and is fit for purpose and designed to be there for a long time. To be honest, we think it's a bit of a joke.
He's worked on projects for the War Memorial since the 1980s, including designing the current Anzac Hall. That award-winning building cost $12 million and is now slated for demolition less than 2 decades after it opened.
The fabric of the building itself, providing it's maintained properly, should last 100 years or more. It is probably one of the most significant buildings that we've done. We would be very sad to see, very, very sad to see demolished.
Why does the building itself need to go?
Because we need more space. It's as simple as that. It simply wasn't cost effective for us to prop this building up, to come in, to dig down, to go down the 9 metres, to build the extra floors and then put it all back together again. It was actually cheaper and better for the taxpayer to build a new building.
There's a very strong case for making more resources available for veterans, and particularly those suffering mental health issues, the rate of suicide, all these things among these people that are coming back from these conflicts.
I've had the assurances of the Minister for Veterans Affairs and the PM that it's not an either or, it's both. If we need more money for veterans, if we need more money for the mental health of veterans, they have it.
The project still needs several more approvals before major works can start. Karen Bird does not oppose the expansion, but says the redeveloped memorial needs to tell the unsanitised version of Australia's war history.
And my son died because this country was not ready to look after him when he came home. I think it's a perfect opportunity for the Australian War Memorial to be part of the truth-telling of what war is. And it's not glorious. And people who die don't fall, they're killed. And that has long-term repercussions for those who are left behind.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.